Ende bayi asim ko bosin keta mana na yimma asim kan ko echikwelu ya zelu. Dịka o si dị, ihe a bụ Eastern News 24 bụ ebe anyị si wee na-ewetara unu ya bụ nnukwu ozi dị oke mkpa gbasịta maka ihe na-eme na obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya, ana gbasịta maka nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, ọ bụ na ya bụ ụbọchị izi gị ị na-agafete n'iru akwụkwọ afọ chanel anyị, kaba alụ ka ị sọbskraibụ and turn on notification. Maka gịnị? Anyị na-etinyekwanụ update daily gbasịta maka ihe na-eme n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya, na gbasịta maka nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, ya wetara unu n'iru akwụkwọ bụ ife anyị na-akpọkwa evening tea ka anyị ji maka ya, ka anyị ji mara ya. Anyị na-akpọ ya evening tea. Ife a bụ Biafran Prime Minister in exile were ife were ịgwa ụmụ Igbo. Unu ga-esi ya bụ ife n'ụdị nke gị, ị ga-esi ya bụ ife ịkaba alụ kwuo efe ichelu gbasịta maka ihe ndị a niile Biafran Prime Minister kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa anyị na-akpọ evening tea. You can say drop your own comment. All right, over to you, sir.
No, it is just going to be for formality. They will never accept anything democratic. They are not democratic in nature. They don't know even what is democracy. They do fraud in election. They kill people to become governors. They kill to become president. So they don't know what is a democracy. So we are now providing solution from what we have learned from the West, that indeed there are ways to conduct election without people getting killed. And you need to see the videos of the referendum voting in Biafra land, where people dress and come without nobody shouting, because of course of the security situation and threat. We can't nobody making noise. Everybody come, make your vote, write your name, put your name down, because we have the record of everyone that voted. For the 30 million, we have the record, we have their names and everything. So when this happens, after this declaration, we will approach Nigeria and request for the approval and recognition of the self-referendum. We will also do the same thing to African Union, to ECOWAS. All these things are just for formality. These are people who they have put in those positions to hijack the system for the interest of the tyrannic system and nomadic system of government. Most of the people you have in the ECOWAS and the AU are all appointed by the Nigeria state, especially those representing them there. The same thing is applicable to Eritrea. So they are loyal to the government that appoints them. And they are there not to defend the interests of the people, but to the interests of the political party and the interests of the presidents that appoint them and gave them the appointment. That is why Africa is failing today. Because it is all about the interests of those who appointed you. Not the interest of the country, not the interest of the citizen, not for the interest of the society. So we know that our communication will not bring anything or any change, but rather we want to do it as a formality. After that, we will continue the delegitimization of Nigeria within Biafra territory. Because the only two things we want to achieve using this process is the legitimization of the Biafra government and the delegitimization of the Nigerian government. And this is going to be the beginning of the delegitimization and the beginning of the legitimization.
Ụmụnne m, tupu anyị aga n'elu igosi unu ya bụ ife ndị ọzọ anyị ji maka ya wee bịa, maka ife anyị na-eji gosi unu nkịta ọ nnukwu ife ka ọ bụ ihe Biafran cabinet meeting on international level. Kabaro ka subscribe, turn on your notification. Ebe ese bell aka metụ ya aka go on so that kila pin miss any of our update the Ghana with any na Eastern News 24. We continue going if I again.
You know, what we're doing now is that, of course, we are open for, you know, peaceful dialogue and all that. As a matter of fact, we are the peaceful one. The Nigerian state is the violent one. And of course, we've actually learned from what happened to others, both in Nigeria and elsewhere in Africa. Africa leaders are the most corrupt, selfish leader you can see anywhere in the world. So they don't actually believe in dialogue and peaceful discussion. So we've seen in Biafra land where peaceful agitators are getting killed, where people who just carry flags to demonstrate on the street are getting shot, straight bullet, killed, massacred in their cold blood. And this has happened from 1999, since the resurgence of the Biafra agitation under Mossab, under the IPOB, Nigeria, where people believe that we're fighting for freedom, only to go to the street, get killed, and they use their pictures and videos to share on the social media. Nigeria is killing us, Nigeria is killing us. I was sitting and watching those things as one Nigerianist that I was. So when I know that Nigeria, it can never ever get better, and I said, instead of wasting my time trying to wait for somebody to come and revive a faulty foundation that I know how rotten it is better that I use everything I have, both my intelligence, my profession, my experience, to support the liberation of Biafra. I joined the struggle. So when I joined the struggle, one of the things I did and promised myself and my God is that under my watch, Nigeria will no longer kill any Biafran and enjoy the killing. So what did we do differently? What we did differently is that in as much as we believe in peaceful agitation and then also, ready for dialogue, so this whole thing can be resolved amicably in a more democratic way, Nigeria are the one bringing violence against our people, killing them for asking for freedom. So we decided to raise our defense forces, and defense forces will be defending our land against the terrorists in uniform, while we will continue to push to the outside world, to the West, to America, in a more diplomatic, more refined, and more, a political way. So we believe in those approaches, and because of the way Nigeria is and the kind of mentality which is kill, 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 and we understand them very well. And the people that are ruling Nigeria are nomadic people. They are not Nigerians. They are not originally from Nigeria area. The president himself is not a Nigerian. I don't know whether you people are aware of that. He's not originally from Nigeria. The vice president is not originally from Nigeria. So these are people who do not believe in human dignity and the right to life. And of course, we always love human beings. We protect them. We protect women. We protect children. So what I did under my government was that I will provide that security that Nigeria never provided for my people. I will make sure that those who support the Biafra government, and whenever they get killed, Nigeria will pay their difference. So we started our self-defense by raising the Biafra Liberation Army, the Biafra Resistance Fighters, and the Biafra Navy. And today, they are engaging Nigeria terrorists whenever they come to kill, as usual. So this is why it looks as if there is a violent way to our freedom. We are not the one bringing violence. The Nigerian state do it. So whenever they see that they cannot overpower us anymore, they start running around and complaining that we are violent. How are we violent? Were we the one who went to the streets to butcher and kill people that are carrying flags? Nigeria is not only violent to Biafrans. They are even violent to those who believe in Nigeria. You see them killing people for protesting for bad governance. You see them killing those who protested for criminals in the NSAS protest, where they are protesting against the terrorist SAS officials. They get killed and they cover them. At the end of the day, over 1,000 persons were secretly buried in Lagos. So Nigeria state is a terrorist state. Using violent states on them is just to give them some kind of accolade. They are terrorist state, and so anybody supporting Nigeria is actually aiding terrorism. And that's why we are ready to defend ourselves. And so it looks as if there are people who are violent or violent agitators. There is no violent agitator. All we do is to defend ourselves to make sure that Nigeria will never have a field day killing Biafrans again. If you check the past, from 2016 to 2017 to 18, they killed and massacred Biafrans in the field of Biafra, and nobody has been held responsible to date. This is the reason it looks as if we are towing the pathway of violence. And of course, we respond when a government is bringing violence. You do not fold your arms. You will respond with violence. And of course, you need to even have a superior power to be able to withstand the kind of barbarism from the Nigeria state. And that's what Biafra have done very, very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister, Mr. Simon. And this historical and joint interview, this historical and joint interview with the Eritrean government in exile is a milestone in our fight for freedom for the two movements, freedom for Biafra from Nigeria and also for the government of Eritrea in exile and government of Eritrea in exile and of Eritrea inside the dictatorial regime in Eritrea. Can you tell us what do you have in common, both these sisterly governments in exile and the struggle for independence and the struggle for free Eritrean people from the tyrant administration in Asmara?
Thank you, Mr. KHA. And again, thank you, Prime Minister Simon. And I would like also to commend Mr. Elias being straightforward in this 21st century.
Right.
We don't have anything to hide. When you're fighting for freedom, there is nothing to hide.
Yes, everything on the table, Mr. President.
Pardon me?
Everything on the table.
Yes, it should be on the table. Only a tyrant will have something to hide, but we have to be upfront because we're fighting for freedom. So we shouldn't have anything to be worried about by telling it like it is. On that previous question you gave to the Prime Minister Simon, if there is a peaceful political dialogue, but with this dictatorship and the tyrants, the oppressors, they don't have any vocabulary that says peace. In our case, it looked like it's too late. It became to the point of no return. I don't think they would listen to that aspect. If there is a way, even today, after all this damage that has happened in my nation, Eritrea, if there is anything to be dialogue, if there is a peaceful way to exit, in order to reach or achieve our freedom, we want to do it with the minimum damage. We don't want any further bloodshed. We don't want to create a humongous military in order to battle the existing military. For God's sake, those military that are inside Eritrea is the people's military. They are not a private military. They belong to the nation. If I would remind each and every one of you, as you graduated from Sawa, you have a pledge you gave. And that says, yes, as a military, I will protect my nation and my people from external and internal enemies. Repeating, from external and internal enemies. So, I still want to remind you, the biggest enemy is the internal one that is looming and causing all this harm among each of us. As we know, he lives in our differences. So we have to minimize our differences in order to know and identify and target the enemy. Coming back to your question though, what do we have in common? Well, injustice in one place is injustice everywhere. If we are claiming we've been unjustly treated, the same goes for the BIAFRA people. By the same token, something that we have in common also, the BIAFRAs are also indigenous people. So do we have 4 different indigenous people in Eritrea? That has been recognized through the United Nations. I think they deserve their freedom, their human rights intact. I think they should be treated even well known throughout the world. Because of that indigenous movement for all of us, I think we have a big thing in common. Again, even coming as a prowess for democracy, we both governments are working to restore democracy. And I think this is the biggest binding point we have in order to work together. The minute we met through the Office of Moran Strategies, we decided, yes, in order to elevate each other, yes, we can work together. Yes, our causes are just. Yes, our causes are righteous for our people. Therefore, yes, there is a lot in common for us to work. And I think it is not about if, but when. Yes, we will prevail, and our people, both sides, should be uh, free. With that, I will yield my platform to you, Mr. KJ.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Bahadurai, Mr. G. Uh, Mr. Mr. Elias, can you give us looking forward and in the future what we can be achieved or expected from the modern strategies in cooperation for these two governments?
Ndị be anyị daalụ nne nke ukwuu ka unu si wee gbaa mbọ wee na-esoro anyị n'ife anyị na-eme n'elu akwụkwọ dị iche iche. Ọ bụ ife m chọrọ ikwu bifo ma alapụ unu ka unu tinye alụ nke unu ife uche n'elu akwụkwọ gbasịta maka ya bụ ife dịka o si ada and dịka o si akpọtụ n'elu akwụkwọ. Ọ biko wa ajụ m chọrọ ịjụ, biko ndị Igbo ọma na-ege ntị saanụ ya bụ ajụjụ. Ọ ga-edugokwu n'oge anyị akpọ n'ụwa anyị mitin nke ịbụọ jụọ ụwa anyị nwanne anyị nwoke anọ n'ụlọ nke mkpọrọ ebe a ka ọ ya anọzi. Ọ ga-edugo oge onye ọbụla bụ onye Igbo ya pụta tinye ebe ya bụ ife ọnụ maka ya bụ ife akarigo. Nnamdi Kanu nwere ife o mere n'iru akwụkwọ. Tọsifọ ihe ọjọọ mere n'iru akwụkwọ bụ na ọ sị na ọ chọọzi ịbụ onye Naịjirịa. Tọsọ ya bụ ife ọjọọ o mere. And ndị ọha eze niile ma ndị niile were na-ekwuchara ndị Igbo ọnụ fa, nobody is doing something about it. Nobody is doing anything about it. Ife a na-asụ bụta ọsọ ogologo oyibo. Maazị Nnamdi Kanu bụ the leader of indigenous people of Biafra IPOB si na mmegide na-emegide ụmụnne ya dịrọzi ya alụ mma si nye ya Biafra ka ọ na. Okay, to tell you that what that thing Maazị Nnamdi Kanu na-ekwu n'eziokwu, since eji Maazị Nnamdi Kanu check the system of Nigeria till now, the system na-ebezi akwa, everything is collapsing. Always able to phone out. What's the more you hold him, the more the economy destroyed. He said these things. Obuli fomu na iputa ine kubo kamake je yon di flani na major on di flani. Chefo no ha buzo we major ndi Igbo. Owori ndi Igbo mele ndi flani. There's nothing an Igbo man. What if Igbo man mele flani? Ndo aneze sina neji yo in the flani about the killings in 1914. Now Jubikon Owori ndi Igbo mele ndi flani. First from the jail where conquered si Hausa niile wee bata ka conquer kwuola n'Igbo ofu onye pụtalụ bụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu si na nke ama mme na ndị ka ife adịlọ achụbịa ka egbuo onye Igbo ewere nwanne ya lee. Ya bụ ife bụ ọ bụrụ ihe nji maka ya wee bịa ma ọ bụrụ na ị na-ege ọnụ m n'ife anyị na-ekwu n'iru akwụkwọ. Maazị Nnamdi Kanu stand with justice, equity, and fairness. O when they may be which Obola Najia Sunday Boho Akwaji de Lapia. Aqua the same thing Maazị Nnamdi Kanu na-azụ ka ọ na-azụ. Ndị Igbo kpọọ n'onwe meeting Joe na-ajụ. Ọgwụnakọ ha m n'ọnụ. daalụ dị na-ekwusi na-esore anyị. Ọ bụrụ na nke a bụ ụbọchị izu gị na-abịa n'iru akwụkwọ esore na Morning Tea na Eastern News 24 kabarụ ka ị sọskraịbụ and turn on your notification ka ịrapụ imisi any for update dịka anyị na-drọp ya n'iru akwụkwọ oge niile. Daalụnụ ụmụnne m, ogwụ na-akọ ha m n'ọnụ.